Still anybody's guess as to who's actually going to get promoted this season from the Championship to the Premier League, as of course we now have Leeds right back at the top of the table. But who will be there at the end of this week's matches? We're going to take a look at that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video today. It's all about match number 42, that's right, as we head into a busy week of action over in the Championship. If you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe and your one-stop shop for Blackburn Rovers, World Football, Championship Football. We're going to all here under one rooski, that's right. It is still 2 from 3 at the top of the table, and the race for the playoffs is starting to get a little bit crispy, that's right, with the likes of Millwall now back into it, West Brom taking a tumble, and of course, Coventry and Bristol City now making a spot in that top 6. We'll get into all of that and much more in a second. If you knew where you've been, hit the old subscribe. Your one-stop shop for Championship is right here, boys and girls. What we're going to do now, though, is revisit those last midweek games, actually. Bring you bang up to date with all that, and of course the Superbru, and then of course kick on forward to this weekend's drama. So sit tight, hold on. Let's get into it, of course, and have a look at what went on this past Tuesday and Wednesday, and these were those. That's right, Rovers coming back from 2 goals behind to level it up 2-2 at a tricky Sheffield Wednesday side that has been very difficult to beat on the road. But Rovers got themselves something out of it in the end. Meanwhile, Bristol City did beat West Brom 2-1 as predicted. Norwich City could only muster a draw 0-0 against Sunderland. I went with a 2-0 win. Meanwhile, what else we got going on here? Meanwhile, we have Preston off end with a 2-2 draw against Cardiff. Big point in the road there for Cardiff. Millwall with a massive win over Sheffield United to move themselves within striking distance of those top 6 spots. Stoke and Luton with a 1-1 draw. Watford did beat Hull 1-0 to get themselves also back in discussion, perhaps. Meanwhile, Derby continued their amazing form under John Eustace 0-0 over Burnley. Borough did lose at home to Leeds. I went the other way. QPR with the first win in a long time. 3-1 winners away to Oxford. Swansea did beat Plymouth 3-0 with a 2-0 win, and Coventry did beat Pompey lastminute.com to get themselves over the line. So that's, of course, the results from the midweek. This is what the table looks right here, right now, guys. As you see, it is Leeds on top right now, with Burnley in second spot with 85 points. Sheffield United there in third. Remember, Sheffield United had 2 points deducted at the start of the season. So if it was the case that they hadn't had those, we had 3 on 85, and we could still have a Sheffield United in that top 2 at the end of this coming weekend's action. Going down, it is still Plymouth, it is still Luton, and it is Cardiff at the moment. But Hull still not out of it, Oxford not out of it, Pompey not even out of it just yet, as the race to avoid the drop continues, of course. Now, what also continues is this week's Superbru. It is, of course, getting a little bit spicy over there. Of course, don't forget, I have thrown in the towel, just a reminder. Jamie Kirtley with a massive 14.5 week wins the week. Bru's on first with the coolest name in town, also in second spot. Vinny hung there along with Lewis R in bronze. If you see your name in there, smash your like, smash your subscribe. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and of course I respect those guys who keep on doing it to the bitter end. Speaking of bitter end, this is the end. Bruce on first is in first, not Bruce on first, he's in first, that's right. Dream Marley's in second spot, Pennywise is in third, TAB fourth, and KP21 in fifth, in a spicy looking top 5, including Vindaloo Victory on the outside looking in. Respect to all of you guys. Keep doing your thing. And, of course, we'll see who comes out top at the end of the campaign. So that is all that. Smash the like, smash your subscribe. Now, of course, let's look forward to this weekend's drama. Lots of games to be had. Some good ones, some bad ones. This is the link if you want to get involved with the Superbru or to familiarise yourself with how it all works for next year. That's right. So let's take a look at the next round of games, and these are those. Just doing a little bit of a bit of clean up here. Just hang on with me as we look forward to the games. That's right. Maybe just shove me over there, or I go over here. There we go. Centralise yourself. We can kick it all off with a trip to Turdmore. Get your bloody tetanus jab. That's right. You're going to the deepest, darkest dungeons. That is Burnley. They're taking on Norwich this coming week at Turdmore. Burnley under Scott Parker right now, second in the table. They are unbeaten in at least the last 6 matches. They won 3 of the last 4. Up against Norwich under Jonas Tulip, just 1 win in the last 6. They're down to 11th right now, 53 points for the season. They played Burnley 27 times this year, 2000. 14 wins for the Freaks, 9 wins for Norwich, and there's been 4 draws between the two sides. Last time around, over at Burnley, it was a 1-0 win for the six-fingered banjo players back in October 2022. Now, the reverse fixture, also a 2-1 win for Burnley back in December this campaign. Burnley winning 3 on the bounce. They're coming into on the back of that 0-0 away draw to Derby. Norwich also picking up a draw this week at home to Sunderland. The odds right here right now do have Burnley as favourites. I've got to go with them as well. Unfortunately, they'll win 2-0 winners in the end. On Friday night. Meanwhile, let's hop on over to Saturday's games. It's Leeds, it's Preston, it's Coventry at Ellen Road. Leeds under Daniel Farke are top of the pops right now, unbeaten in the last 5. However, just 1 win in the last 4 up against Preston and a Paul Heckingbottom. Winless in the last 4 matches, just 1 win in the last 6. They sit 16th right now, 49 points for the season. They played Leeds 25 times since 2004, 12 wins Leeds, 6 wins Preston. There's been 7 draws between these two sides, including the reverse fixture this season at Deepdale. It was a 1-1 draw way back in December. Now, the last time that they played over at Ellen Road, it was a 2-1 win for Leeds. Leeds on the back of that important 1-0 win over Middlesbrough at the Riverside. The last time they were at home, they picked up a 2-2 draw against Swansea. Preston picked up a 2-2 draw against Cardiff, which actually been back-to-back home draws. Their last away match resulting in a 2-0 loss to Derby. Just having a look there. Back-to-back games on the road in the Championship without a win, at least. The bookies odds will give it to Leeds as well. I will give it to Leeds. I think they should win it 3-1, comfortably done, to maintain the top of the league status. Let's go Plymouth then, up against Sheffield United. Coventry at home park. Plymouth under Miran Musilic, 24th for the table, 37 points for the season. Are they down? Do we think they're down? Do we admit it? I don't know. They're coming at you. 42% form for them right now. Just 1 defeat in the last 3. Up against Sheffield United under Chris Wilder, 3rd in the table, 83 points for the season and back-to-back defeats. Now, they played Plymouth 13 times since 2004, just 2 wins for the home side there, 9 wins for the visitors and 2 draws. Last time around at Plymouth, it was a 1-0 win for Sheffield United way back in December 2009. The reverse fixture this season was a 2-0 win for Sheffield United at Brom Lane back in December. Plymouth, though, did lose to Swansea convincingly, 3-0 loss there. Last time they were at home, though, they did pick up a 2-1 win over Norwich. On the flip side, Sheffield United did lose 1-0 to Millwall. Actually, back-to-back games without a goal, back-to-back defeats for Sheffield United. They had a end of the season blipping at the wrong time. The bookies, though, they'll give it to Sheffield United. Expected to win. I was on the fence here. I had to sit long and hard about this one. This could be anything. This could be a coin flip. Plymouth make it very difficult to play at their place. And, of course, Norwich were a prime example of that just the other day. And Sheffield United's form is pretty stinky. So I originally went with a home win for Plymouth, but I think I needed an away win, at least one away win. I might have more, but I am going to go Sheffield United. I think they have to win this game. Otherwise, they could find themselves too much to handle in the final few games of the season. Let's go to Wales then as Cardiff take on Stoke. Is it the Gary Round with Derby? Can we call that? I think we can. Anyway, these two sides will meet at the Cardiff City Stadium. Cardiff under Umaritza. They are 22nd right now, 42 points for the season. They are unbeaten in the last 4 matches. Up against Stoke and Mark Robbins, unbeaten in the last 3 matches. Now, both sides still with that relegation discussion, just 2 points separate the two sides, with Cardiff in 22nd and Stoke in 20th. They played 26 times since 2003, 10 wins Cardiff, 6 wins Stoke. There's been 10 draws between the two sides. Last time around at Cardiff, it was a 2-1 win for the Welshies back in February 2024. The reverse fixture this season at the Bet365 Stadium was a 2-2 draw back in December. They also played in the FA Cup 4th round in Feb. Cardiff coming out on top on penalties. So Cardiff unbeaten against Stoke over the last 6. However, 4 of the last 6, or maybe even 5 of the last 6, were level after 90 minutes. Stoke on the back of that 1-1 draw against Luton. Cardiff on the back of that 2-2 draw against Preston. Back-to-back away points for Cardiff. They were at home. Most recently, they picked up a point against Sheff Wednesday in the last home match. Odds on this one, go with Cardiff. It looks like the bookies. I'm going with the 2-1 win as well to dent Stoke's hopes to stick in the division. Meanwhile, Luton Town up against still out of form Blackburn Rovers. Coach at Kenilworth Road. Luton under Matt Bloomfield have got some form together right now. They're 23rd in the table, 40 points for the season. Unbeaten in the last 5. However, just drawn 3 of the last 4. Up against Rovers, who do come into this on the back of a draw. They're still down there in 12th spot with 8% form over the last 6 matches. They played 10 times, these two sides, since 2007. 3 wins apiece and 4 draws. Last time around, of course, at Kenilworth Road, it was a 2-0 win for Luton back in September 2022. The reverse fixture this season at Ewood was a 2-0 win for Rovers. Rovers on the back of that 2-2 draw, comeback draw against Sheffield Wednesday. Luton on the back of that 1-1 draw against Stoke the other day. The odds on this one, they'll go with Luton. Of course, they should, because they are the one of the form teams in the division, and they're definitely in much better form than Rovers. But hopefully, Rovers can see that point or a comeback against Sheffield Wednesday and maybe get something out of it. So I'm going to go with a draw here, sitting on the fence. I think still going to wait for that first win and a big Val. It's coming, guys. It's coming. So a point in the bag for Luton. Meanwhile, high-flying Millwall up against a also high-flying Middlesbrough. Just what we look at 3 points separate with these two sides. Millwall under Alex Neil. They are ninth right now, 57 points for the season. They won 3 of the last 4 up against Borough under Michael Carrick. Just 1 defeat in the last 5. They sit 7th with 60 points. They played the Millwall 31 times since 1993. 9 wins Millwall, 13 wins Borough. There's been 9 draws between the two sides. Last time around over at Millwall, it was a 3-1 win for Middlesbrough back in January 2024. The reverse fixture at the Riverside was a 1-0 win for Borough way back in December. So back-to-back wins for Borough. They're looking for a three-peat. Can they do it? Borough, though, on the back of that 1-0 loss to Leeds. Millwall with that massive 1-0 win over Sheffield United. Of course, and that followed up another big week earlier in the week. 2-1 winners over Millwall. So, yeah, back-to-back wins for Millwall. A bit of a defeat there for Borough. The odds on this one, they go with Middlesbrough on this one, the bookies, but this one's tight. Millwall at home ain't no slouches, guys. I've gone with a 1-0 win for Millwall, and that'll close into the top 6 and dent Middlesbrough's hopes. In the process, let's go to Fratton Park then, shall we? As Portsmouth, their home form is where it's all at. Up against Derby County under John Eustace, who are 21st right now, 42 points for the season. Up against Portsmouth under John Messina, 17th for the table, 45 points for the season, just 1 win in the last 5. They played 20 times, these two clubs, since 1993. 5 wins Portsmouth, 8 wins Derby. There's been 7 draws. Speaking of draws, the last time that these two sides played at Fratton Park, it was a 2-2 draw back in April 2024. That was in League One. The reverse fixture this season at Pride Park was a 4-0 win for Derby back in December. Derby, though, back-to-back games without a goal for them. They did lose to Swansea last week. They only picked up a point against Burnley this week. Coventry picking up a 3-pointer against Portsmouth most recently. Their last home match, Portsmouth, was that 1-0 win against Blackburn Rovers. The odds on this one, Portsmouth are expected to win this one according to the bookies. It's going to be a tight one, could be a draw, but I'm going to go with Portsmouth 2-0 winners, which hopefully will boost their own survival hopes and dent John Eustace's. Meanwhile, QPR up against Bristol City coming at Loftus Road. That's right, QPR under Martin Cofientes, 15th for the table, 49 points for the season. They're coming into this on the back of a win. It's actually been back-to-back games without a loss now for QPR. Up against Bristol City, who are flying high right now. They're 5th, 63 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They've actually won 3 out of the last 4. They, of course, played QPR 33 times since 1998, 11 wins apiece and 11 draws. Wow. Last time around over at Loftus Road, it was one of those 11 draws. It was a 0-0 draw back in November 2023. The reverse fixture at Thrashton Gate, also another one of those draws. It was a 1-1 draw back in December. QPR, though, picking up a 3-1 win over Oxford. Bristol City with a 2-1 home win against West Brom. Their last away match, Bristol City, was a 1-0 loss to Burnley. So it's actually been back-to-back games without a win for Bristol City on the road. It's the home form that's given them a big old chance to do this. Odds on this one, QPR not fancy. Bristol City are expected to get the W. I'm going with a 1-1 draw, just like we've had previously in the season, as points to split round of the men. Meanwhile, Sheffield Wednesday up against Oxford United, coming at Hillsborough. Danny Rolls' boys are 13th for the table, 53 points for the season. They've winless in the last 4 up against Oxford under Gary Rowett, who are 18th right now, 45 points for the season, 2 wins out of the last 6 matches. Speaking of 6 matches, the last 6 between these two sides have ended up 2 wins apiece and 2 draws. Last time around over at Hillsborough, it was a 0-0 draw way back in December 2022. The reverse fixture at the Kazam, 3-1 winners it was for Sheffield Wednesday back in December. Wednesday, though, picking up that 2-2 draw against Rovers. Oxford on the back of that 3-1 loss to QPR. The bookies' odds for this one, though, they'll go with Wednesday at home. Not their cup of tea, really. It's not where they usually get the points. But I am going to go there. At least, actually, I'm sitting on the fence here with a 1-1 draw, point apiece, which doesn't do anybody any good, really. In their own quests. Let's go Sunderland up against Swansea in the battle of the S's. That's right, come out at the Stadium of Light. That's right, it is Sunderland and Reggie Labrie, 4th in the table, 76 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Swansea under Alan Sheehan, unbeaten in the last 3 back-to-back wins. They sit 14th with 51 points. Now, they played each other 17 times since 2011, just 3 wins for Sunderland, 7 wins for Swansea, and there's been 7 draws. Now, the last time they played at the Stadium of Light, it was a 2-1 win for Swansea back in February 2024. The reverse fixture in Wales was a 3-2 win for Sunderland back in December. Sunderland now picking up a 0-0 draw against Norwich. It's actually been back-to-back clean sheets. It's actually 3 clean sheets on the spin for Sunderland heading into this one. Swansea, though, also on the back of back-to-back clean sheets and back-to-back wins as well. Their last away match was a 2-2 thriller at Leeds. So maybe, just maybe, there's something in this Alan Sheehan milkshake here. Maybe he's got the right tonic to get Swansea moving in the right direction. Anyway, the bookies' odds will have Sunderland as the bookies' favourites here. I'm going with the 2-0 win as well to change that demographic or the recent trend anyway in this fixture. So 2-0 winners for Sunderland. Let's go West Brom up against Watford in the battle of the W's. That's right. Come out the Hawthorns. Tony Mowbray's boys are 8th right now, 57 points for the season. They've lost 3 on the bounce. Winless in the last 5 up against Watford and Tom Cleverley. Just 1 win. The last 4, they sit 10th with 56 points, and they played West Brom 31 times since 1993. 11 wins for the Baggies, 8 wins for Watford, and there's been 12 draws between the two sides. Speaking of draws, the last time that these two sides played at the Hawthorns, it was a 2-2 draw. Meanwhile, the last match they played at Vicarage Road, 2-1 winners it was back in December 2021. The Baggies on the back of that 2-1 loss to Bristol City. Watford on the back of that 1-0 win over Hull heading into this one. The bookies will go with West Brom. I think West Brom are overdue a victory. I think if they're going to win, it's going to be at the Hawthorns. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. Tony Mowbray's boys back in the winning column, and maybe back in the discussion for the top 6. And then finally, we go to Monday night. It is the week of Easter, of course. Hull City up against Coventry at the MKM Stadium. Ruben Selles' boys are 19th right now, 44 points for the season, just 1 win in the last 4 up against Coventry under Frank Lampard. 3 wins, 3 defeats over the last 6, and they are still sitting in those top 6 spots with 62 points. Now, they played Hull 17 times since 2005. 7 wins Hull, 6 wins for Coventry. There's been 4 draws between the two sides. Last time around, over at the MKM Stadium, it was a 1-1 draw. Way back in September 2023. Reverse fixture over at Coventry Stadium, whatever they call it. The Rico, the RCA, whatever, the Mickey Mouse Stadium. 2-1 winners it was for Coventry back in December. Coventry picking up a 1-0 win over Portsmouth most recently this week. Hull on the back of that 1-0 loss to Watford. Exchanging victories left, right and centre. The bookies quite find this one tight. I think Hull City are just about favourites for this one. I'm going with a 2-1 win for Coventry on the road to boost their own chances for that top 6 spots. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. Leeds will be top of the pops. Burnley will be in 2nd. Sheffield will remain in 3rd. Sunderland still closing in, but I think a little bit too far gone for them to get into the top 2. Coventry, though, starting to cement a spot. Bristol City also 4-point lead over West Brom, heading into the final 4 or so games, right? Going down, it is Plymouth, it is Luton, it is Derby, and of course another big old tight encounter there. So that is that. Make sure you get your predictions in. Of course, we'll be back for a busy weekend over Easter. But until then, subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. Until then, we are done for now.